Hi, my name is Connor, and this is my compare and contrast essay on the Ottoman and Spanish empires. And today I'm just going to be going through and trying to revise this essay and make it a little bit better. So first of all, in this compare and contrast essay, I included a lot of facts about the two different empires, comparing and contrasting them. But the real issue with my essay is just that I need to explain the why of the comparisons. Why the two empires differed. So for example, like here in the second paragraph, I say, early in the history of the Ottoman state, efforts were made to curb the power of aristocrats by introducing practices such as the use of janissaries and court eunuchs, who could not belong to powerful aristocratic families. In contrast, the Spanish nobility was powerful and influential, and in Spanish colonies, encomenderos, landowning nobles held significant power, acting almost as regional rulers over conquered peoples. So that's good because, I'm explaining, and I'm definitely comparing them and contrasting them, but what I'm not doing is explaining why those differences existed. And so that's what I need to do. So for this one, for example, I could say something like, in contrast, in Spain, in Spain, nobles, the aristocracy was not seen as a threat, and therefore, Spanish nobility was powerful and influential, and in Spanish colonies, encomenderos. Okay, so that gives much more explanation as to why the two nations differed. It doesn't just summarize; it explains why. And then also looking down, we see here I say, I'm talking about religion, comparing not only the fact that the Ottomans were Muslim and that the Spanish were Catholic, but also the fact that the two empires treated conquered people very differently. And what I said was that the Ottomans were relatively respectful of non-Muslims, at least for Jews and Christians, because they're considered fellow people of the book. But on the other hand, the Spanish Empire brutally suppressed challenges to Catholicism. And so that's a description, but I don't really explain why. I think I was trying to go for explaining why by saying that Jews and Christians were considered fellow people of the book. So I was kind of explaining that because they were people of the book, the Ottomans respected them more, whereas that wasn't really a concept in Catholicism, but I should do more to explain that there. Okay, moving on. I go on to say that the Ottoman Empire is quite tolerant of conquered peoples and their cultures, allowing them to retain a degree of self-governance through the millet system. The Spanish Empire was authoritarian, favoring strict control of conquered peoples. So in that one, I'm very clearly contrasting them with each other, but what I need to do is explain why the Spanish Empire was authoritarian, what motivated that, and why the Ottoman Empire was not authoritarian. And so I think what I would say there is that the Spanish Empire was authoritarian, favoring strict control of peoples, because this is a very good word to use, we've been taught, because whenever you use the word because, it forces you to explain. So it's a good word. So I'm going to say something about how the Spanish Empire is authoritarian because they didn't try to incorporate the new conquered lands into their nation. Really, they were exploiting them, but they didn't want them to be part of Spain, because the Empire was less interested in, and there's a good word for this, assimilating, that's the word. Assimilating conquered regions and peoples. Rather, they sought to exploit the conquered regions and peoples for economic gain. The authoritarian structure helped to keep Spain and the colonies separate, while also enabling greater control. Enabling. Okay. And so altogether, those changes, I would want to also restructure my introduction probably to reflect those changes and maybe my conclusion. But overall, those things should make this a better essay because it will, actually on the rubric, it says that I have to explain why things have occurred. And now I think it explains why things have occurred. It explains the motivations, which is better. Okay, thank you everyone. Thanks for listening.